friends, and today I say often that the travel is the fountain of youth. And today I'm going to talk about the scientific reason why it really is the fountain of youth. And in a way, I'm not going to say that the body's it, but if you can keep your mind through, growing stronger as you grow older, that's kind of the youth. If your brain is energetic and vibrant and capable of being used, and you can articulate words and things. As we get older, we have problems doing different things. But I'm always working on the brain, and I'm always researching the brain, trying to understand how to do it. But I learned a word today called neuroplasticity. Okay, and the word neural means nerves and kind of the electrical chemical synapses of the nerves. And then you have plasticity, which means to be molded. So it means that you can mold the nerves of the brain. And then you have another word called neurogenesis, which is the idea of creating new brain cells. And what they're saying here, and they try to keep it simple, is they have these synapses, these electrical chemical reactions, they hook together. And what happens is, as time goes on, if you don't use it, you lose it. And they say this a lot in all the videos I've been watching on my biohacking channel. I've been making a playlist on neuroplasticity and a neurogenesis and, microglia or something like that. But the idea is that you have these synapses, and if you don't use them, you lose them. So we lose our memories with time because these synapses, because they're not used, they're lost. Okay, so I'm sitting there going, okay, I when I say travel is the fountain of youth, the reason why I say it is because I believe that to actually be mentally acute, have mental acuity and be able to think, you have to have constant challenges, okay? And there's one thing guaranteed about moving around. Every city I go to is a new and unique challenge, a new one. It's not the same one. I have to adapt and solve problems every place I go. And being that I've been to like 114 countries, and maybe say I did 10 cities in each country, I've got about 10 times 100. What's that? 1,000? No, it's more than that. Okay, but you can see it's a lot. I would stop and count that. Yeah, it's about 1,140. But say I got 800 to 1,000 cities I've entered. Each one of these cities is unique. No city is similar. They have similarities and they have infrastructure that's similar, but actually they're totally unique. And how to understand the complex cities is the art of travel. And as you travel more, you become more adept at understanding how a city functions. And if you can understand how a city functions, like I just made a couple videos on my travel tips shorts where I said, normally in a Latino country, from Mexico all the way to Chile, I look for the Parque Central, the Central Park, or I look for the Plaza de Armas in South America. That's what they call it usually. They call it different names but Parque Central or Plaza de Armas, the Central Park. And then I try to find a hotel, because that's kind of like the nexus, that's the center of a city. And if I don't do that, and I really want to kind of move faster, I try to find a hotel close to the terminal terrestre, or the the bus station. Okay, and what that does is it gives me the ability to get on and off the bus and go to the next city pretty fast. The problem with that is the city's kind of big. The distance to the Parque Central can be kind of far, right? But when you're going for a bunch of small cities, this is maybe a half mile. But in a big city, it could be miles. So the bigger the city, the more likely I am to go to a Central Park. Okay, right now I'm right near the Central Park, and but I'm going to go to the airport in Colombia. Okay, so there's different strategies. Okay, but what happens is what it's saying in neuroplasticity and neurogenesis is that it's kind of like learning a word in Spanish. You got what you call rote memory. And if you say the word, por favor, which means please. If you say it over and over, por favor, please, and I often put it into my five senses. I write it down, I see it, I hear it, and I repeat it 20 times, and that's rote memory. And what you've done is you created a pathway. You created the synapse, the scientific synapses, the electrical synapses have grown, and they've created a pathway for you to remember this. Okay, and so what I took this chat GTP. It's a really pretty interesting thing. You can do some really good brainstorming with this AI. You got to be real careful because it's got a very I don't know. It's going to make you into a weak person. Okay, it's not a very what I would call it's not a challenging thing. It wants to do it. But I said, give me 100 ways that I can make my mind grow, right? How can I become more adept? So say you're senile or you have, different problems thinking, or you're autistic or whatever, you have to create these synapses, okay? And if you have thinking problems and you're forgetting things. Now, I'm always talking about making sure you eat the right foods, you add the right oxygen, the right water, the right nutrients, the jet fuel. I call the food the jet food. But it's kind of interesting. When I asked the chat GPT how to do it, it says, learn a new language, play a musical instrument, practice mindful meditation, brain training games, read challenging material, take up a new hobby, learn to juggle, take different routes. Okay, take different routes. Let's just stop on there. They give me about 60 or 100. Basically, all it's saying is give new hobbies, new ideas, new challenges. And I often get upset because a lot of my friends that have retired, they seem to just gone into stall. They have no new challenges, and all they do is seek comfort. Now, why we seek comfort is, I understand seeking comfort, and I want to live in a comfortable room, and I want to have comfortable things. Mostly, I want to have less noise in my life. Okay, but what's interesting is I have become addicted to the rush, the emotional endorphin, dopamine rush of a challenge of entering a new city. Now, there's a problem here because Tony Robbins was talking to the other day with this guy about learned helplessness. If you fail too often, okay, you learn to give up on trying stuff. So you don't get very adventuresome and you try. You got to win most of the time. Contrary to what you think, you don't really want to aim for the stars and fail. You want to really aim for something, in my opinion, and always succeed. Okay, so like I talk about I have index cards and I'll write 3 things I'm going to do today and I'm going to achieve them because I constantly want to reinforce, like Pavlov's dogs or something, or operant conditioning. I'm going to succeed continually, okay? And what's great about travel, and this is what's interesting, 909, probably 9 out of 1,000 people, 9,000, okay, out of 1,000 people, 999 people make it to where they're supposed to do it. So they get almost income. It's one of the few things you do where you almost always succeed. And this is really, really beneficial to a person because some people, they go to work every day and they obey the boss and they do what the boss says, but it's not really their accomplishment. So when you do your own accomplishment, life is better, okay? So I've been traveling for 26 years. I don't have a home in the United States. I'm a global citizen. I live anywhere and everywhere I want. And I've been to, 1,000 cities, right? And I've lived in, I have to have lived in about 1,000 hotels, okay? Or something like that. They got all different names. I'm always laughing at all the different names. If you really want to get a cheaper room, you shouldn't say hotel. You should say residencia or hospedaje or pension or different words that mean less tax money for the government. Hotels are the highest taxed. And then you got these different levels of taxation. But a boarding house in the United States would be a cheaper place than a hotel. I mean, you got different levels of housing, and often we ask for the most expensive. Okay, but what this neuroplasticity is kind of like plastic, right? Plasticity, or the neurogenesis, is the idea that we create brain cells. And so learning a new language. it's really, takes the brain and did it. But what happens to me, and I've been studying super intelligence because now with, sorry about that, now with coupled with AI and different tools you have right now, we can really kind of like leverage our brains to do a lot more than we used to. I mean, this Chat GPT is like a proofreader, a copy editor for me. It rereads what I says. I can take a quote and I can say, give me 10 options on how to say this quote. And I mix and match and I choose and I keep changing it. And eventually, what's interesting with Chat GPT, when you get the perfect quote, and it's really simple, what my friend Rick likes to call atomic. It's at the atomic level where there is no way to decrease the wordage. I mean, it's so simple. It just says, great job, okay, which is kind of the goal. Okay, but learning, the pedagogical study, pedagogy is the study of learning. And when you learn a language, you learn little tricks to do it. Like I was telling my sister the other day that I'm getting better at remembering names. I've been trying so hard to remember names for so long that I'm actually very good at it, okay? But I have all these little, I don't know, pathways. So when I go to learn a word, I just met two people here, Jenny and Gabrielle. I say them out loud, right? I say Jenny, I say Gabrielle. Sometimes I say spell it. Then I write it down. I put it in Google Keeps. I'll put a little memory cue next to it saying this. When I put it in my smartphone, I say Gabrielle in this city, and I'll say, give some description of her. And I got all these little ways of making it a dynamic way to remember things. And these are the way we learn. But the brain is the same way. It's inside the brain, it's creating all these neural connections. These nerves are all connecting. These electrical synapses are relating in different ways, and it's growing, okay? So what the greatest benefit, and the reason why travel's the fountain of youth is because if you keep your brain vibrant, by constantly having a challenge. Now, the reason why we stop having challenges is because of routine or habits. A habit is something like I have a very hardcore routine on my day. I wake up, I go drink a cup of coffee, I go to the restroom, answer my emails. It's just a system, right? I don't really have to think about it. It's just a habit. It's a routine. About 7:30 in the morning, I go for a walk. About 4 times during the day, I go for another walk. I scrounge. I'm a scavenger for food. I'm scavenging all my types of food, whether it's protein, vegetables, fruits. I scavenge these all through the day, trying to get the best whole type foods for it. But again, every day, when you switch cities all the time, you constantly do it. The routine, though, is when you live in the exact same place, you walk the exact same place. Like I was talking to my sister, she does this walk around the block, and I said, please, you're boring yourself to death, okay? Make a different walk every day, even if you have to get in a car and drive around. See, I often take a taxi to a different part of the city and walk back, and I go all over the place. And after a month or so, you really got the city figured out. So, but I want to always have something new. So I'm addicted to something new. Now, a lot of people are addicted to the news, which is supposedly something new, but they're getting an endorphin rush of anger. Okay, and that anger is just as addictive as a good glee, happiness type thing. Happiness is addictive, and so is things. So, I mean, the best things in life are free. Love, sex, hugging, family, these are free. But the quicker way to do it is to get it in an argument. So one way or the other, we're addicted to that dopamine, endorphin rush. There's different words for this. I don't really understand exactly. But you get a chemical release when you get angry. So people are addicted to their smartphone. Get angry, get angry, get angry, get angry, get angry. They're addicted to problems. But not really the best synapse pathways, neuroplasticity, not the best neural network. Elon Musk has this thing, Neuralink, where he's going to enter a chip into your brain, and it's maybe going to make it so you can see, and you can do different things because it's allowing a chip to take up parts of the brain that's dead. Okay, and this is really smart. Okay, but the scientific reason why travels the fountain of youth is because if you can keep your mind constantly working on a new puzzle, okay, something new, abstract, nothing predictable. So like even do a crossword puzzle every day is a problem. You got to do something different every day. I was going to recommend to my sister, her husband's having some problems, and I said they should go to the restroom every day. Okay, they should go to maybe a different restaurant every day, maybe at the same time so it's easy to remember, like, 8 o'clock in the morning, they go to the restaurant, sit there, and then they interact with people. And I'm saying this from a philosophical point of view, that 25% of your time should be spent meeting new friends. 25% of your time should be spent meeting friends that you already know, the philosophers. 25% of your time should be in learning and watching media. And 25% of your time should be in new experiences. Okay, the new experiences is what is the fountain of youth, because the more random abstract thing. See, the reason why humans are addicted to social networks is not because they get on there for something expected, it's because it takes you to a place where you don't expect it. Like I constantly get irritated at Fox News. They have a headline, I click on the thing and I go in there and the video's about something else. It's not on topic. But they do this on purpose because it's addicting. Then they got these advertisements that are really all over the place. And we have a question in our mind and we got to itch it. So if the itch is predictable and we went right straight for the answer, we would be bored. So what they do is they make you go in a round robin sort of way. And they're playing games with your head. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's got this figured out, to the fact that Google's got it figured out, that they know that they can get you totally addicted to getting on the algorithm of YouTube. Zuckerberg can get you addicted to Instagram and WhatsApp and Facebook and these things. And it's a science, and it's not even that complicated anymore. They got it pretty well figured out. But in a very bad way, that is getting you addicted to anger, okay? But the fountain of youth is to be addicted to fun, okay? To new ideas and things. And guess what? Wouldn't you like to always succeed? See, this is why out of 1,000 people, 999 people are going to make it, okay? Very few people fail to get to things. It's just the time at which, maybe the time increases and the awkwardness, but they're going to get there. And a lot of people don't like this stress of constantly having it. And I always try to say, to enjoy travel, when it gets stressful, you travel slower. But the big problem is they try to go on a 7-day trip, a 10-day trip, and they got a checklist of 50 things they got to do. And I won't be a tourist longer than 2 hours in a day. It's just it's an overstimulation, okay? Because the brain can only handle so many new things in a day, okay? Contrary to what you think, the worst thing you can do is burn out your brain by overwhelming it with, absolutely strange things in other countries. Because some of this stuff can really be different. I mean, you go, what do I think about this? Because when you look at something, when they're doing something culturally different, you think to yourself, do I approve of this, okay? And that is, I don't always approve what's happening, right? But the fountain of youth is to have continually, in what they're saying, if I take this, what you got to do is have completely random things happening all the time, but in manageable ways, okay? And in success ways and in competent ways, so that you get the satisfaction, you get fulfillment. Most people, when they travel, they can't wait to get home, okay? And I feel sad for them because they, maybe I try to tell them, go slow, have fun, don't study anything, just go there and experience the place. Never study a place before you go there, because when you go there, you got a list of questions, about 100-fold questions of things that you got to answer. If you don't have any questions, everything's just free flow and it's just enjoyable. If you have to go in there and say, get a confirmation bias that it actually is true. See, when you watch a video and it's, 99% of travel videos are not even truthful, okay? They're just made up quote. The more editing you see, when they go and they got all that music on, that's an agenda to make a lie, okay? I don't hardly change videos at all. I just put on a video and I do it, right? I don't edit it, I don't do anything, because I don't want to take reality and alter it, because when you get to the place, then you're going to say, it's not what Andy showed, right? I want to show you exactly what the world is, and that's the truthfulness. But if you watch too many videos before you go on a trip, you have to go answer these videos to see if they're actually true, right? And you'll find it, because you can always find one example of that, but it's not the overwhelming example, okay? They cherry pick these things, and that's why they're so lying. They make everything into paradise, right? And there's no such thing as paradise. There's good and bad and everything. Okay, but the fountain of youth scientific reason is your brain is constantly growing because of this random creation of new neurons and synapses and chemical reactions going on. It's growing with the number of random things that you have to challenge. But I will say, please make completion, get the completion high. Okay, the completion high is, I said I'm going to go do this, and I do it. If you constantly fail to get what your goal is, like I love to come in a city with absolutely no reservation, no idea what to do, and find a really high quality room for, that's 1/5 the price that you're paying. Okay, I'm paying $11.50 for an incredibly beautiful room here where I'm at, close to Medellin Airport, and I'm here and you're not. Why not? It's because the electrical chemical synapses, the neurons are growing in my brain, and I get better at adapting all the time to what could be a vulnerable situation, or a situation where I need to adapt. I need to be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally ready for these things. A lot of people think that travel is just a money thing. Travel is an emotional trip. Okay, it's almost, when you watch that movie Eat, Love, and Pray with Julia Roberts, it's totally correct. That is travel. Eat, love, and pray. That is travel. Travel is not just going at a checklist and say I did this and I did that. That is the opposite of really the enjoyment. James Michener's quote, which I cannot repeat, but he said, if you ignore the language, if you ignore the religion, if you don't eat the food, you might as well stay home. Okay, but these new experiences, so you got 25, the philosopher has 25 new experiences, 25 media, reading, learning things, then you have 25 new friends, and then you have 25 existing friends. And then this is the balanced life, okay? And to keep the hard part about travel is a lot of people overwhelm themselves, and they in travel jargon, we call it losing the plot. They lose the plot. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Because I have been part of the Fountain of Youth. I'm 65 plus years, and I'm vibrantly getting a buzz by traveling the world, and so can you. But travel, and this is why I don't. Everybody just going on the other side of the city is travel. It's experiencing a new place where you don't really know the rules. That's travel. My mother used to say, I don't travel. I said, Mom, you go to Fort Wayne all the time. I said, you have to adapt. You got to figure out your baggage. You got to do this. It's travel. Just figuring out what travel is life done 10 times faster. Because when you go outside your comfort zone, that is when you're alive. Going outside your regular routine is the Fountain of Youth. That is travel. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Hit the subscribe button. Anybody that wishes to support me, I have a Patreon thing. It's a way to do it. And almost every Sunday now, we're going to have a Zoom meeting where we can talk over issues. I think I'm going to come up with topics, different topics each time, but as a Patreon, you can also recommend topics that you'd like to see have a discussion on. And now these are camera on things. I don't deal with anonymous people. We only deal with straightforward, transparent, honest people, because honesty is information you can trust. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become a Patreon, hit the subscribe button, and life is good. I'm here and you're not. Why not? My brain is getting vibrant.